The air grew thick with tension as Andy emerged from the darkness, his presence casting a shadow of fear over the clearing. His eyes gleamed with a feral light, wild and untamed, as he prowled forward, each step echoing like a thunderclap in the silent night. Gabriel's jaw clenched as he watched the rogue wolf approach, his hand instinctively reaching for the weapon at his side. Beside him, the other hunters shifted nervously, their eyes darting between Andy and their leader, uncertainty etched upon their faces. But Jane remained surprisingly calm, her gaze fixed upon Andy with a mixture of curiosity and defiance. There was something in his eyes, something that stirred a strange sense of recognition deep within her soul, a connection that defied logic and reason. As Andy drew closer, Gabriel stepped forward to confront him, his voice low and commanding. "What do you want, Andy?" he demanded, his tone laced with a thinly veiled threat. Andy's lips curled into a predatory grin, his teeth gleaming in the moonlight. "What do I want?" he echoed, his voice a low growl that sent shivers down Jane's spine. "To roam these woods without fear or restraint." Gabriel's grip tightened on his weapon, his gaze unwavering. "You know that's not possible, Andy," he replied, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "You've crossed the line too many times." Andy's laughter echoed through the clearing, a sound that chilled Jane to her core. "Cross the line?" he sneered, his eyes flashing with malice. "There are no lines in the wild, Gabriel. Only the strong survive." With a swift movement, Andy lunged forward, his claws extended, his fangs bared in a menacing snarl. Gabriel raised his weapon, prepared to defend himself, but before he could strike, Jane stepped forward, placing herself between the two adversaries. "Stop," she commanded, her voice ringing out with unexpected authority. "This ends now." For a moment, the forest fell silent, as if holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Andy and Gabriel regarded Jane with a mixture of surprise and suspicion, unsure of what to make of this unexpected interloper. But Jane stood her ground, her eyes blazing with a fierce determination that brooked no argument. "We can't keep fighting like animals," she continued, her voice soft but resolute. "There has to be another way." Andy's gaze softened, a hint of uncertainty flickering behind his eyes. "And what do you suggest, little human?" he growled, his tone mocking but tinged with curiosity. Jane hesitated for a moment, her mind racing as she searched for an answer. And then, with a sudden clarity that took her by surprise, she spoke. "We need to find a way to coexist," she declared, her voice echoing through the clearing. "To live in harmony with the forest and all its inhabitants, human and wolf alike." As Jane suggested the idea of coexistence and living in harmony with the forest and its inhabitants, Gabriel's reaction was immediate and vehement. He scoffed at her proposal, his laughter ringing out through the clearing with a frantic edge. "Coexist? Live in harmony?" Gabriel's voice dripped with disbelief as he shook his head. "That's absurd. We've been at war with these beasts for generations. You can't just expect us to suddenly lay down our weapons and sing kumbaya with them." But despite his outward bravado, Gabriel couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that gnawed at him every time he looked into Jane's blazing eyes. There was something about her conviction, her unwavering belief in the possibility of peace, that struck a chord deep within him. As he locked gazes with Andy, the rogue wolf, Gabriel felt a strange sense of kinship, a recognition that went beyond the boundaries of their animosity. He could see the same hesitation, the same flicker of doubt, reflected in Andy's eyes, an uncertainty that mirrored his own inner turmoil. But try as he might, Gabriel couldn't silence the voice of hatred that burned in his heart, fueling his resistance to Jane's proposal. The wounds of the past ran too deep, the scars too fresh, for him to let go of his anger and resentment. And so, with a heavy heart and a clenched jaw, Gabriel turned away from Jane's hopeful gaze, his resolve hardened against the possibility of peace. For as much as he wanted to agree with her, to embrace her vision of a better world, the hate in his heart would not let him. And as the shadows lengthened and the night enveloped them once more, Gabriel knew that their journey was far from over. For in the heart of the forest, amidst the tangled roots and twisted branches, a new chapter in their story was about to unfold, a chapter filled with uncertainty, danger, and the ever-present threat of violence. But amidst the chaos and the conflict, one thing remained clear. The truest test of their courage lay not in the battles they fought with swords and claws, but in the battles they fought within themselves. The battles between love and hate, fear and hope, darkness and light. And as they stood on the brink of an uncertain future, Gabriel knew that he would have to confront his own demons if he ever hoped to find peace. For himself, for Jane, and for the enigmatic lone wolf, Andy. In that moment, while both adversaries were unwilling to reach a peaceful resolve, Andy knew this was not a day or time to hunt. He exhaled heavily and trudged away. As Andy trudged alongside Jane, Gabriel, and the rest of the group, his gaze wandered to Jane, the enigmatic figure who seemed to defy the very laws of the forest. In her presence, he couldn't help but feel a strange sense of familiarity, a stirring deep within him that he couldn't quite place. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the wilderness, Andy's mind drifted back to fragments of memories that flickered like distant stars in the vast expanse of his consciousness. Among them, one memory stood out, a memory of warmth and tenderness, a memory that seemed to belong to another lifetime. In that memory, Andy could see fragments of Jane's face, her eyes glowing with an intensity that spoke of passion and longing. It was a memory tinged with sadness and regret, a memory of a love that had once burned bright but had since been extinguished by the harsh realities of the world. As the group pressed onward through the dense foliage, Andy's unease only seemed to deepen. Halting abruptly, he fixed his gaze upon Jane, his expression grave, before speaking. "You've been lucky today," Andy began, his voice carrying a solemn tone that resonated through the forest, "but tomorrow might tell a different tale. Be thankful for the damsel among you." He gestured towards Jane. "There's something about her." With those cryptic words hanging in the air, Andy turned away from the group, his silhouette merging seamlessly with the shadows of the trees. His departure left the remaining members of the group with a sense of uncertainty, a lingering feeling that there was much more to be uncovered. Gabriel cast a wary glance at Jane, silently acknowledging the weight of Andy's words. Though suspicion lingered in his mind, he couldn't deny the unique aura that surrounded Jane, a presence that seemed to hold secrets untold. As Andy delivered his cryptic message, tension simmered among the group like a brewing storm. Gabriel, ever the skeptic, couldn't resist the opportunity to challenge Andy's ominous warning. "Enough with your riddles, Andy," Gabriel retorted, his voice sharp with frustration. "We don't have time for your cryptic nonsense. If you've got something to say, spit it out and do not just walk away." Andy reappears slowly, his eyes narrowed at Gabriel's brash response, his patience wearing thin. "You would do well to heed my words, Hunter," he warned, his voice low and menacing. "The forest holds dangers far greater than you can imagine." Before Gabriel could respond, Jane stepped forward, her gaze steady as she addressed Andy. "We appreciate your warning, Andy," she interjected, her tone calm but resolute. "But we need to focus on leaving this forest safely. Quarreling won't get us anywhere." Gabriel shot Jane a skeptical glance, but begrudgingly held his tongue. With a begrudging nod, he conceded, "Fine, but don't expect me to trust the word of a lone wolf." As the tension eased slightly, a sudden rustling in the underbrush shattered the fragile peace. The group tensed, their senses on high alert as a chilling howl pierced the stillness of the night. In the distance, a pack of wolves emerged from the shadows, led by none other than Finbard, the formidable alpha. His eyes blazed with a fierce intensity as he locked onto the group, his lips curling into a snarl of aggression. Without a moment's hesitation, Finbard and his pack surged forward, their primal instincts driving them towards their prey. With adrenaline coursing through their veins, the group scattered, their hearts pounding as they raced through the labyrinth of trees, the distant howls of the pursuing wolves echoing in their ears. In the midst of chaos and danger, alliances were tested, secrets were revealed, and the true nature of survival in the wild became all too clear. And as they fled into the unknown, their fates intertwined by the threads of fate, one thing was certain. Their journey was far from over, and the challenges that lay ahead would test their courage, their strength, and their resolve like never before.